I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here to NNSCRA TV's coverage of the second race, the second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Ultra Lite Series, as we are here at the Manasas Speedway in preparation for the Virginia 120. 60 laps getting ready to be run here today, coming off the heels of our season opener at Daytona. We saw Skylar Taylor pick up the victory in a 2/1000ths of a second photo finish over Sean Galligan. Now, this racetrack in the past in the Cup Series has not been necessarily known for photo finishes, but hey, you never know. It's a brand new race car here for the Lights drivers. Last season, they were running in the Gen 6 Cup cars. Now they're running in the 2020 Xfinity cars. Different physics as well, so we may be in for a thrilling finish here in back-to-back weeks. After our qualifying yesterday, Aubrey Powell captures the pole position for this afternoon's event, the entry out of Haas Racing, and she'll be alongside of Adrenaline Motorsports entry, the number 15 of Dave Smith. Aubrey Powell coming into this race 19th in the point standings. Dave Smith coming into this race 14th in the points. So both these drivers kind of right in the midway portion of the points, and you know, very early on in the season, if you can garner yourself after maybe not the best run in the season opener, if you can get a win, a top 5, even a top 10, you can jump up double-digit spots in the point standings because the points are just so close. Of our full-time drivers, even back to Mike Teller, who never got to roll off the grid last week at Daytona, only 34 points separate first through 25th in point standing. So a lot of opportunity here this afternoon. Of course, as well, for Skylar Taylor, he'd love to be able to pick up his 4th career Duracell Ultra Lite Series victory and 2nd of the season. There's another 25 drivers in the field, though, that they want to get their first of the season as well. Let's go down trackside. Let's get those most famous words in motorsports as we get ready to go racing here in Virginia.
Go out there and have a good time today. Make it happen at the end, my friend. Big thumbs up here. You're ready to rock and roll. Good luck to you guys on pit road down there today.
You see your starting lineup for this afternoon's festivities. You'll notice that it is a smaller field than we had last week at Daytona. That's because none of the Cup All-Star cars are in the field here this weekend. It is completely just full-time Light Series drivers getting ready to take to the track here this weekend at Manasas. Well, keep an eye on some of your drivers up there at the top of the point standings after last week at Daytona. Skylar Taylor, your points leader, 6 points over Sean Galligan, 8 back to David Dixon, who starts this race up pretty close to the front of the field. In the, he's in the 14th position. I got him confused with somebody else. Cam Wright Jr., actually Kyle Langland rather, 4th in points, 10 points back. He's actually in a tie for 4th with Cam Wright Jr. And then Ralph Mason, Eli Bright, Juan Garcia, Wes McCoy, and Colin Grace are your top 10 in the point standings. Two of those drivers out of the Haas stables, McCoy and Grace. And another Haas car starting on the pole in Aubrey Powell. 60 laps here at Manasas. Who's going to capture the second checkered flag here of Season 2? Green flags in the air, and we are underway in the Virginia 120. Aubrey Powell looked to take the lead there through 1 and 2, but Dave Smith with a nice exit out of the second corner. Kept the momentum up down the back straightaway, and he's hanging tough on that top line. Now looks like 3 and 4 is where the inside line prevails the best. But Chris Dullerton, big run, big side draft, big momentum, gets to the stripe first. He'll lead lap number 1 as we're 3 wide, several rows deep, headed through 1 and 2. Nathan Stapleton now moves into the second position. This is the first time that the Duracell Ultra Lite Series has come here to Manasas, but if you didn't tune in earlier on this afternoon to Cup qualifying, in the 7 seasons we've come here to this racetrack in the Cup Series, the race winner has always been a blue oval. We'll see if that carries over Ford's success here to the Lite Series. Right now, they've got Fords 1, 2, and possibly 3, as Mike Tellier tries to get that third position away from Sean Galligan. The first lap here this afternoon that Mike Tellier turned is the first lap he has turned all season. Never got to participate in last week's Daytona race. Had a mechanical failure rolling off the grid, and they immediately pushed him back behind the wall. He finished last in that race, so he finally gets to turn his first laps in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series here in Season 2. And, man, I'll tell you what, if there's any driver that really could use a win to combat the poor performance of Daytona last week, it would be this entry out of Bishop Family Racing, as he slots into second place behind Michael Norman. Here come a couple of teammates out of Trackhouse Racing, couple of Supras, Eli Bright in the 20, Roberto Crown Jr. in the 18. And then another blue oval behind them. That'd be Kyle Langland in the 26. See the 70 right there? That's Cody Majoric. Guess where he started this race from? Dead last, 26. And in a matter of 5 laps, he's already up inside of the top 10, knocking on the door of the top 5. So this maybe will help us in gauging a little bit of what to expect in tomorrow's Cup Series race. A lot of big names earlier on this afternoon did not qualify anywhere close to the front of the field, going to be starting out back, and there was the question mark of the passability here at Manasas, how quickly you could work your way to the front. I think we're getting a little case in point here. If a driver that rolled off 26th was up around 5th position within 4.5 laps, I think those Cup drivers that didn't get the best of qualifying efforts, they're not in too much danger, provided they got a fast race car. Jordan Anderson slots up to the front. Be the first time that a Chevrolet bow tie has taken the lead here this afternoon. And now Juan Garcia in the 19, leading up that inside line. Pole sitter last week at Daytona, brought it home in the 8th position, well, actually correction, in the 11th position, but 8th in points coming into this one. Now people are probably wondering, well, how does that work? Normally in the season opener, where you finish is in the races where you come into the next week in the point stands. And remember, we had those Cup Series drivers last week. Well, they race, but they don't get points. Jack Mitchell, Dylan Young, Reggie Fogelman all finished up inside of the top 10, but they don't get points. So Juan Garcia, even though he finished in 11th, he is 8th in overall standings. Leapfrogging, I believe it would have been Dylan Young and Reggie Fogelman. Now, Reggie is not in the field this week. However, the 11 car out of Trackhouse Racing is. That is Sarah Fogelman, who's going to be swapping that ride on and off with Reggie during the course of this year. Sarah is running for Lite Series points, and right now in P2, behind the 93 of race leader Jackson Haywood. So far, clean and green. A lot of good racing going on here. We saw for a brief moment our points leader, Skylar Taylor, making his way up into the top 5. There he is, the white number 29 Mazda, Costco-sponsored machine there in the middle. He's now starting to drift back after getting kind of put in the sucker hole, if you will, as Cole Coiby takes the lead. And here comes 5th in points, Cam Wright Jr. to the inside. Cam Wright Jr. in his first full-time season out of Southern Cross Racing, a team that you'll remember last year yielded 3 victories for David Dixon, so no surprise to see Cam Wright Jr. with a solid piece for the second week in a row. Now Chris Dollerton, who led the first lap, is going to go back to the point. Dollerton just ran his fastest lap of the race that last time by, 37.231. Currently, Roberto Crown Jr., though, has the fastest lap overall at a 36.825. That's about 195.5 miles per hour. We'll be seeing the Cup drivers tomorrow running over 200 miles per hour. I think the biggest pack we had in qualifying earlier on today garnered 205 miles per hour top speed going into turn 3. Wes McCoy now to the inside of teammate Aubrey Powell to move into second place. Wes 9th in the point standings coming to this one. And there's last week's runner-up finisher, Sean Galligan. And the number 62 making his way up the inside. Galligan looking for that one position better that he was 2,000ths short of last week at Daytona. Now, something that is different here for both Lights and Cup this season, outside of the super speedways, the pit frequency has been set to 1x. Last season, it was set to 2x to have pit road play a lot more of a factor into the outcome of the races, kind of lead to fuel strategy races, but it has been set to 1x here in Season 2 of Lights, Season 8 of Cup. However, 60 laps of racing here at a 2-mile racetrack, CTS physics, I think, at least in this race, don't know really about tomorrow, but at least in this race, I think they are going to have to come to pit road at least one time before the conclusion of the 60-lap feature. So pit road looks like it will still play a factor into the outcome. And so far, these drivers have done a good job of keeping it clean and green, 12.5 laps without seeing a caution. As Cody Majorek, it officially took him 12 laps to get from dead last to the race lead and lead a lap. Colin Grace now takes the lead, gets shuffled up to the outside. Michael Turner going to be the second Michael Norman Motorsports driver to lead a lap here today. And so put the Pizza Hut Dark Horse Mustang out in clean air, and here comes Sarah Fogelman back to the inside. Looks like passing definitely a viable option here. Nobody seems to be able to keep the race lead. It's like a conveyor belt. Drivers will go to the front, they'll drop to the back, move their way back up to the front again. So it may come down to timing, really, in the closing stage of this race as to who ends up winning, and that's been typical in the past of our 2-mile speedways. Manasas, Auto Club, Michigan. We talk about this in the Cup Series side, but I think we have to talk about it on the Light side as well, because a lot of the tracks that we're running in Cup are also on the Light Series schedule. I think the only discrepancy is when Cup goes to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Lights drivers will be at Lucas Oil, but other than that, they're all running the same tracks on the weekends that Lights and Cup are running together. And so that means that Manasas, Auto Club, the regular season finale, and Michigan, the season finale, championship weekend, just as important for the Lights drivers as it is for the Cup drivers. Especially now that we know that the Lights drivers are going to have a playoffs. Didn't have one last season. Ran just the Winston Cup type points. But there will be a postseason for Lights this season. As Autumn Brooks now looking to the inside of Cam Wright Jr. The top 6 in the point standings at the conclusion of Auto Club will be in the playoffs, and then 4 wild card positions will be given out, giving us 10 drivers to battle for the championship here in Season 2. Autumn Brooks almost led that lap, but Dave Smith with a nice run on the bottom going to lead. I believe that is his first lap lead of the day. Yes, it is. A lot of drivers going to get that bonus point for a lap lead, as I think at this point we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 11 drivers have already led a lap here this afternoon. Jordan Anderson back to the point there. There's a lot of moving around and everything. Let's take a look and see. Let's drop back to a driver at the rear of the field. How about our pole sitter, Aubrey Powell? Let's watch her, how she methodically is going to try and work from the back up to mid-pack and to the front of the field. Let's go on board with the Haas Racing entry. We very nearly had our first caution of the afternoon there. As you saw with that onboard, Dave Smith squeezed his way down in front of Aubrey Powell. You heard Powell have to bail out of the throttle. Now, one thing I did notice here, and this is actually something people don't necessarily take into account with these type of racetracks. If you saw, but coming off of turn 4 at one point there, Aubrey Powell turned the wheel to the right. Why did she do that? Because the back end of the car got loose. The way that the banking works at these type of racetracks, you've got a lot of banking into the entry of the corner all the way to the exit. But then the banking transition is different. It flattens out as you come off of this corner. And if you're especially on that inside line, the back end of the car will get light. Now, there are 2 factors to this. One is the tires, obviously. There's a lot of pressure put on that right rear tire. As the right rear grip starts to go away, the back end of the car starts to get very slidey. But another thing is, the longer we get into a fuel run, people don't think about this, but when you have 2 cans worth of fuel in the back end of the car, that is added weight. As the fuel starts to evaporate, the longer a run goes on, the back end of the car, that weight goes away and the back end gets lighter. So as you come off of the corner, without all that weight to be able to lean on to kind of plant the back end of the car to the racetrack, the back end will get looser the longer the race continues and the emptier that fuel cell gets. So that is something that we'll have to keep an eye on here as well. Drivers want that shorter way around the racetrack on the inside line, but it may not necessarily be all that comfortable for them when they're coming off of turn number 4. Well, so far, Chris Dollerton has led the most laps. He has had 6 circuits out in front. Cam Wright Jr. has led 3 laps, and then everybody else has led only 1 lap that has taken a turn out in front. So getting to the point, it's going to be easier to name off the drivers that haven't led laps than those that have. I think right now, if I'm eyeballing this real quick, maybe 10, 11 drivers have not yet led a lap this afternoon. Mike Tellier hadn't led a lap, I don't think, and he just led one. So add his name to the list. Jordan Anderson has not led a lap yet, and he's making a challenge to the inside right here. Autumn Brooks right behind him has also not led a lap, so very soon they may end up getting onto the stat sheet, if you will, for a lap lead bonus point. It won't be Anderson this time, it will be Brooks who'll get her first lap lead. It's like our pole sitter Aubrey Powell hasn't led a lap yet. Ralph Mason, Cole Coybe, David Dixon, Colin Grace, Wes McCoy, Kat Batson as well. Powell looking for that lap lead here. David Dixon right behind her also. The hope here is these drivers can at least make it to lap 30. If they can make it halfway, then I think we know that we're only going to have one pit stop to decide this thing. I don't know for certain if they can make it the full 60 laps. Wow, that's going to be close. Who's it going to be? Scoring right now, unofficially giving it to David Dixon, and that's who it's going to be. Boy, I want to see the interval on that one. I'll tell you what it is when it clocks in. But if they can make it past lap 30, then we know it's just going to be a one stop. 4,000ths. David Dixon over Aubrey Powell right there. Not quite as close as our finish last week at Daytona, but nearly there. Kyle Langland now going to battle to the stripe with Jackson Haywood. Haywood's going to lead that lap there. KB Racing Enterprises actually does have a Cup Series win here at Manasas. That was back in Season 5 with William Micros, and guess what car number he was in? The number 93. Matter of fact, both the KB Racing Enterprises cars nose to tail there. Kat Batson pulling up behind the Wix Filters Dark Horse Mustang. As now Chris Dollerton back to the point. Michael Norman Motorsports actually has a Cup Series win here with Mitchell Collins back in Season 6. I think the most winningest manufacturer, or not manufacturer, but organization, though, in the Cup Series here would be Blue Oval Automotive. They've got wins with Chris Dollerton, Trey Wright, and Jose Mills, who won the inaugural race for the Cup Series here at Manasas all the way back in Season 1. I'll tune in tomorrow because it is going to be interesting to see if Ford can keep their stranglehold here on this 2-mile racetrack. So far, they are 7 for 7 in blue ovals going to victory lane. As we take a look at what's around the turn, presented by NNSCRA Paint Designs. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow afternoon. It's the Virginia 160 as the Cup drivers will take here to Manasas to cap off what's been an exciting race weekend. Next week, we pack it all up and we head back to the West Coast again. We've been doing a lot of back and forth. We were at the LA Coliseum, then to Daytona, moved up here to Virginia on the East Coast, and right back to the West Coast, as we'll kick things off with qualifying on Friday for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers, and then Saturday, the Cup Series drivers will take to the 1.5-mile Speedway. Lights race will be later on that Saturday afternoon. Cup race the following Sunday. Now the question is when? When do these drivers absolutely have to come to pit road? If they even have to. First time we've seen Ralph Mason up here towards the front in the 66. A couple of the full-time Mazda drivers out of Garage 55 with top 5 runs last week at Daytona. Galligan with the runner-up finish. Mason finishing 7th. Nathan Fogler now to the point. Has he led a lap yet today? No, he is not. And he's looking to do so. Cody Majoric now back to the point here. Nobody has had a dominant looking car in this one. As I said, it's been very difficult for anybody to be able to keep the race lead. The lead has been swapped around multiple times. It will be interesting to see at the end of this one just exactly how many lead changes we've actually had. And that's only counting from the start-finish line back to the start-finish line. I mean, imagine if we were counting here all the way around the racetrack, the amount of lead changes that are going on. I mean, I think we'd probably be up in the triple digits by the end of this race. It's Cole Coybe now out in front. Can he hold them off to the stripe, get his first lap lead of the day? Looks like he will. But the driver that's led the most laps so far would be Chris Dollerton. He has led 7 laps. Next closest to him is Cam Wright Jr. at 4. And why are we keeping an eye on that? Well, driver that leads the most laps does garner an extra bonus point. And that could be very important down the home stretch of the regular season, heading towards the playoffs. Could be important in making your way up into the top 6 in overall points to lock yourself up a playoff spot. It could be important if you're battling for a wild card position. That 1 point could be you 1 position over somebody else for maybe the final wild card position into the playoffs. Oh, we got trouble in the back. What in the world just happened back there? The 20 popped up into the air. I believe Chris Dollerton got into him. Caution is out. And that is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen, and we only caught it just off on the side of the screen there, as Michael Turner will lead us back here to the yellow, and that's going to change up pit strategy. Everybody will probably come to pit road now if they couldn't make it, and now it will no longer be a fuel strategy race. But Dollerton, who had led the most laps up to this point, that was one of the oddest wrecks I've ever seen before. And it involved Colin Grace in the 27. I know Dollerton was in it. I know Eli Bright was in it. It's looking like maybe Brody Kupski in the 41 might have been involved. Not 100% certain. Can't really see any visible damage on that machine. Maybe we can get a look at the right side of the car. Left side looks okay. Is there damage on Nathan Stapleton? No, I think that's just the 2 air vent areas on the hood of his Dark Horse Mustang. But yeah, everybody's coming to pit road. This is going to be the only pit stop of the day now. Everybody should be good on fuel for the conclusion. But you're going to be in shock when we go back and look at this replay. I've got an idea of what might have happened, but the fact that it happened now and not earlier in this race is what really surprises me. I'm not 100% certain all of what went down. We're going to get an in-depth look here, but we're going to follow this pit stop. I think it's going to be a 4-tire pit stop for everybody. I don't see why it wouldn't be. No, I guess right sides only for Michael Turner. But a slow pit stop for him after coming in as the race leader. He's going to leave pit road somewhere around the 5th or 6th position. The winner off of pit lane is going to be Kyle Langland. So Langland in the 26 will be our new race leader, and he'll be getting us under our first restart of the day that occurs after this happened. Coming off of turn number 2. Eli Bright in the 20, Chris Dollerton in the 40, battling back towards the rear of the field. And watch this very carefully. Eagle eye this. So it looks like right there, the 40 and the 20 mesh into each other. That is so weird. And they never come apart. That's one of the most bizarre wrecks I've seen. And my question again is, why did it occur there? That is something we have not had a problem with this entire race. Why did it occur right then, right there? Get another look at it here. Watch this. Dollerton to the inside. Bright comes down to give room to the 27, and they just merge into the same hitbox area. 20 pops into the air. Colin Grace and Brody Kupski both involved. Kupski might be okay. I think he just got sent into the grass. But then look at how these two are still meshed together as they sit idle on the back straightaway. Then when the 40 disappears, the 20 lands back down the ground, and then he does the teleport as well. That is the oddest thing I have seen in a long, long time. And again, a lot of confusion that as to it occurring right then. Let's see if we can get an onboard with the 41 of Brody Kupski and what he sees going down off of turn 2. Imagine what's going through the mind of a driver when they see that. But we'll keep tabs on Kupski, see if he'll be up to speed or not. Didn't look like that hard of a hit into Colin Grace. So he should be okay, but we don't know. This track is obviously, as we've seen with all the passing, double wide, 3 wide, very dependent on aerodynamic soundness. So if he does have damage on the front end of his race car that might parachute him in some way, add a little bit of drag, he could be in danger of not exactly having as strong a race car as he did at the initial start of this race. The good news for him, though, is he will be able to continue, which cannot be said for the other 3 drivers involved in that wreck. Colin Grace, Chris Dollerton, and Eli Bright will DNF here this afternoon, 24th, 25th, and 26th. Colin Grace came into this race top 10 in points. Eli Bright as well. Grace was 10th, Bright was 7th, and Chris Dollerton was 16th. So we talked about how drivers with good runs here in the early portion of the season can gain points. On the flip side, drivers with bad performances early on the season can plummet through the point standings, and I think that's going to be the case for our 3 DNF drivers so far. Hopefully, though, prior to that caution, we were racing hard but racing clean. We were planning for potential green flag pit stops. Now fuel will no longer be a concern. Hopefully these drivers can battle it out green flag to the conclusion, as Kyle Langland's going to lead us back to the restart. Sarah Fogelman will line up in 2nd. Her teammate Juan Garcia will be 3rd. David Dixon 4th, and Michael Turner lost 4 spots on pit road. Came in the leader and left in the 5th position. Cam Wright Jr., Autumn Brooks, Cody Majoric, Jackson Haywood, and Sean Galligan. That will be your top 10. 23 drivers still running, all 23 on the lead lap and believe up to speed. Also point of note, extended stay on pit road for one Skylar Taylor, last week's winner and points leader coming into this weekend. He did return to the track, but not certain why the extended stay on pit road. Lost a ton of track position as a result. We'll see if he can gain it back. Green flag back in the air. Lap 37 complete. Lap 38 on the board, giving us 23 laps to go here at Manasas. Don't think it's going to take them very long after the single file restart to get back to the double wide and 3 wide racing. But with the oddness of that hitbox wreck that we just had here for our first caution of the afternoon, you have to wonder if that's something that's going to be in the back of the mind of these drivers. Again, completely takes me by surprise. You got to think it took them by surprise. And what does this mean for the Cup race tomorrow? I mean, this is the first time this has happened at Manasas. We've never had that happen before. We've run 7 straight seasons of Cup Series action here at Manasas. Never seen something like that before off of turn 2. So, is it these Xfinity cars that led to that problem? I don't know. That's what makes it so bizarre and really a lot more questions than answers. Top 3, top 4, single filed out. Ford, Toyota, Mazda, Ford. Brooks will be the first one to step out, as she'll look for second place on Juan Garcia. No run there. Now tries to tuck back up in front of Jackson Haywood with a big run. He'll pull alongside of Brooks. That'll be the battle for third. Most everybody that came down pit road that restarted up towards the front went with right side tires only, interestingly enough. Some drivers towards the back, they went with 4. We'll see if the 2 right side tires are going to be able to hang on. I would have thought with the fact that we ran over 30 plus laps, everybody would have gone with 4 tires, but I guess they didn't want to give up that track position. They only needed to be on pit road for an allotted amount of time that it took to change 2 tires, so rather than give up the track position for the added fuel, they elected to just put on the right side Goodyears, which means that by the end of this race, that a lot of these drivers, like half the field, are going to have 60-lap-old left sides. Kyle Langland doing a good job here. I mentioned about the fact that, in the early going, nobody was really able to hang on to the lead. Langland's been able to do so. They're going to pull down there right in front of Juan Garcia. Can't stop the run of Ralph Mason on the bottom, though, as Mason will look to take the lead. And with Dallerton now out of the race, he was the driver up until that caution that had led the most laps. Langland led about 4 laps there under caution and held on to the lead until now. So he has led 9 laps. Now he has led the most laps this afternoon and is in possession of the most laps led bonus point. But Ralph Mason now out in clean air. And here comes Nathan Stapleton. Now we're starting to get racy again for the top position. Stapleton will get put in the middle. Nathan Fogler will jump to the inside. 3 wide for the lead to the start-finish line. It was, I believe, Ralph Mason that led that lap barely over Stapleton and Fogler. Fogler now drifting up the track there off of turn 2. And Sarah Fogelman will look for the spot. Update on the 41 of Brody Kupski. When we were on board with him, didn't look like it was that bad of contact. Unfortunately, it was. Brody Kupski is off the pace. And he is actually maybe in danger of going a lap down here if we continue to trend green. Another driver that is off the pace. Not exactly certain as to why, unless maybe there was an incident on pit road that we missed, but the 15 of Dave Smith, who started this race from the outside of the front row, is off the pace. He is currently running nearly 8 seconds behind this lead group. I mentioned Skylar Taylor had the extended stay on pit road. Doesn't look like it hurt him any. He's now out in front, and now 3-time winner David Dixon will look to his inside. Yeah, Taylor with the victory last week at Daytona, and now he and David Dixon are tied for most wins in the Duracell Ultra Light Series. Dixon with 3 wins last year, Skylar Taylor with 2 last year, and now 1 this year. So those two be a nice little rivalry as to who's going to break that tie and be a 4-time Duracell Ultra Light Series winner. As Autumn Brooks looking for her first career win. We'll see her tomorrow afternoon as well in her first Duracell Cup Series start, as she and Trey Wright were the only 2 go-or-go-home non-charter drivers to attempt to qualify, so they were automatically locked into the field. Mike Tully here back to the point, taking the lead from Jordan Anderson, as we'll check in on the 41 of Brody Kupski. Brody right now running in the 41.9s. The leaders are running in the mid-37s. I think that comes down to aero damage there. Maybe something in the front mechanically as well. I mean, it didn't look like a hard hit from the onboard, but looks can be deceiving. And there is Dave Smith, the Papa John's Chevrolet. We're still kind of uncertain as to how he's off the pace, but he's running 39.7s, while the leaders are running in the 37.0s or so, 37.0s to 37.3s. They've caught the 41 of Brody Kupski, and now everybody going to have to scatter to get around his Chevrolet. That's going to break the field up a bit here too. Sean Galligan getting held up in that top line, same for Mike Tellier. Ideally, they could maybe try and kick him up to the 3rd line, take him 3 wide, but Galligan's already 3 wide right now, so there's not a whole lot of space to be able to go there. This racetrack is a little bit narrower on the front straightaway than it is at Auto Club and Michigan. As we'll go 3 wide for the lead up here at the front. Saw a lot of movement there out of some of these cars through 1 and 2. Jackson Haywood going to emerge with the top position down the back straightaway. We'll see if those drivers that kind of got held up there by the 41, if they'll be able to rubber band back up, make it a big group once again. Wow, late dive there to the inside by Kim Wright Jr., and I don't think his car was all that happy with the move. Back end was very squirrely. But he made it work. Somehow didn't scrub off speed on the straightaway, and he got to the stripe first. Let's drop back here to see about those stragglers that had to get around the 41. And yeah, some of these guys might be in danger of not being in the conversation for this win now. Autumn Brooks looked like maybe the last driver to just barely be latched on to the lead pack. Tellier and Galligan, Anderson, quite a ways back there. We'll see if they can catch up, but they're going to need a lot of help for it to actually work. As Sarah Fogelman now out in front in the 11 car. How would it be for Sarah to be able to win in her first career start? This 11 was fielded last week at Daytona, but it was Reggie Fogelman behind the wheel, so this is the official Lights debut of Sarah Fogelman out of Trackhouse Racing. And right now she's got the 5-hour Energy Supra in clean air. Granted though, still going to be 10 laps to go when they come around to the stripe, as they were leaning on each other 4 wide back here. I think those were teammates leaning on each other. Juan Garcia and Roberto Crown Jr. They settle it back out to 3 wide, 3-4 rows deep, 3 wide for the lead. Cole Coybe now, putting Kyle Langland in the middle and Fogelman all the way to the top side. Second full-time season for Cole Coybe. Last year, started out the season really, really well, but then we got to the midway portion of the season, end of the season. Poor qualifying efforts resulting in poor finishes, and Coybe finished way down in the cellar of the point standings. Last week, 18th at Daytona, well, actually 21st at Daytona, so 18th in points. Looking to bounce back here this week, still looking for his first career win as well. Juan Garcia got his first career pole last week at Daytona, so now he's looking for his first win in only his second light start. And Skylar Taylor always seems to be up here towards the front in the closing stages, looking for his second straight victory to kick off the year. Autumn Brooks, Ralph Mason, they were a couple of stragglers at the tail end of the lead pack. They have since caught up and are now up towards the front of the pack. Let's check in on those 3 that were back behind, and they're still together. I don't think that, I don't know if they're close enough to be able to get a whiff of draft or not. Let's see what the lap time is here. 38.5 for Mike Tellier, 37.7 for the last car in this group, Nathan Stapleton. So yeah, I don't think those 3 are going to catch up, which is not going to help Sean Galligan at all. Second in overall points coming into this afternoon. Mike Tellier coming off the DNF from last week. In the season opener, Jordan Anderson was 17th in points, so yeah, those 3, because of slow traffic, are not going to get the finishes they were looking for this afternoon at Manasas. One final look at what's coming up around the turn here, presented by NSRA Paint Designs tomorrow afternoon. You'll see the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers on track here for the Virginia 160. Should be a good one there with what we've seen here this afternoon for the Lights drivers. Ford looking to go a perfect 8 for 8 in victories here at this racetrack in Duracell Cup Series competition. And then next week we kick off our 3rd race weekend of the season, as we'll be at the 1.5 Mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Lights qualifying on Friday at 3, Cup qualifying Saturday at 1. Roberto Crown Jr., a former winner from last season, looking to be a 2-time career winner in Lights. Nathan Stapleton still looking for his first career victory. Second full-time season for him. And last week, when Skylar Taylor went to victory lane, we mentioned this in qualifying yesterday, he did it last to first. He started dead last, won the race. Well, could we go 2 in a row, back-to-back weeks of that? Cody Majorek started rear of the field this afternoon, and now he's battling for the top position here with less than 4 to go. Contact! Michael Turner up into Jackson Haywood, up into Roberto Crown Jr. That could have very well ended this race under yellow. tight 4-wide situation there. They've caught the 15 of Dave Smith in the closing stages here. We'll see how much of an issue he might possibly be. It's not been a good afternoon for the Adrenaline Motorsports team. Now 2 of their entries off the lead lap. The only driver right now out of that stable that has a shot at this victory would be actually no, because the 0-1's not in this race. That's right. So this is not a good race weekend right now for Adrenaline Motorsports. As Cole Koibe leading the way, and they're going to catch the 41 again. The 11 of Sarah Fogelman going to be boxed in. Look at the run Jackson Haywood and Nathan Stapleton got there. A couple of Fords tandeming, trying to get there to the inside of Ralph Mason for second, as Cole Koibe going to try and block every possible run here. 2 laps to go at Manasas. Mason with a dive to the inside, looking to make it back-to-back weeks that a Mazda MX-5 goes to victory lane. Stapleton for third on Jackson Haywood. Michael Turner right now in the 5th position, trying to reel in the top 4. Mason's got the lead. Can he keep him at bay? Koibe clear in second. He's got a good run out of turn 4. Will he make the move here on the front straightaway? Can Mason block it? Koibe's there on the bumper, still not showing the nose, Might be waiting for the backstretch. No, late move into turn 1. No way for Ralph Mason to defend that. Koibe will go to the lead. Now can Mason slide into second, or will Stapleton get alongside of him for the runner-up spot? Stapleton's going to get alongside of him. Can he go 2 for 1 here? He'll get Mason. Can he get Koibe? Looking to get the run off of 4. Cole Koibe, maybe a quarter of a car length on Stapleton. Here comes Stapleton to the bottom. Turner looked low. Stapleton's not going to get there. Cole Koibe is going to get his first career win in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. He'll pick up the victory for Haas Racing. And outside of Cup, it is the first non-Ford to go to victory lane here at the Manasas Speedway. Koibe finally snaps that winless streak. His second full-time season in the Lite Series. Last week finishing 21st at Daytona. And he will certainly leapfrog in the point standings with this checkered flag this afternoon. This also puts him in the conversation, if necessary, for a wild card spot towards the end of the regular season, but he'll want to get up inside the top 6 in points and stay there to point his way into the playoffs. Great start to the year there for Cole Koibe, as it was 38 1/1000ths of a second over Nathan Stapleton. Not as close as it was last week's photo finish, but it was at least still within less than 1/10 of a second, so I guess you could call it a photo finish. As we'll take a look at the full finishing results. One driver gets his first career win, denying another. Koibe over Stapleton. Still a great run there for Stapleton, who finished 18th last week, so he'll gain a ton of points this weekend. Same for Roberto Crown Jr., who was 14th at Daytona, gets the final spot on the podium. And Michael Turner will finish it out in 4th. Ralph Mason led us to the white flag lap, but he will finish back in 5th. Kyle Langland will finish in 6th. Aubrey Powell, after starting on the pole, brings it home in 7th. Skylar Taylor, the points leader, top 10 finish in 8th. We'll see if he keeps the points lead or not. I think he will, but it'll be close between himself, Langland, and Ralph Mason. Sarah Fogelman in her first start of the season, 9th place, good run for her, and 10th for Juan Garcia. So that is, I believe, 3 of the Trackhouse cars finishing up inside of the top 10, 3rd, 9th, and 10th. Cody Majorek, after starting out back, will finish 11th. Jackson Haywood in 12th. Autumn Brooks 13th. Wes McCoy and Cam Wright will complete the top 15. Nathan Fogler was 16th. Kat Batson 17th. David Dixon in the 18th position. They were the last cars to finish up in the lead group. Jordan Anderson, Mike Tellier, and second in points Sean Galligan all finished by themselves in their own little pack after they got held up the first encounter of Brody Kupski. Dave Smith finished a lap down in 22nd, 2 laps down in 23rd for Kupski. And then Colin Grace, Chris Dollerton, and Eli Bright, all involved in a wreck around the midway point, did not reach the conclusion. They will finish 24th, 25th, and 26th. But so far, we have had 2 different drivers go to victory lane, one picking up his 3rd career win, and now one picking up his 1st career win in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. Cole Koibe now adds his name to the list of winners in lights, and he'll look to carry this momentum into Las Vegas next week. It will be very interesting to see how the points are shaken up here with the finishing results this afternoon at Manasas. Thank you all for tuning into this afternoon's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We showed you your full finisher results, and you're now looking at said point standings heading into Vegas. We've still got one more race to cap off this weekend at Manasas. That's tomorrow afternoon. Cup drivers get ready for their second race of the season in the Virginia 160. But until then, congratulations to Cole Koibe on his first career Duracell Ultra Lite Series victory. I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.